So, have you ever seen? I think this is probably outside of your like kind of orbit of what you pay attention to. But have you seen these gambling live streams where Drake will go on Twitch and he'll gamble like $20 million live on stream?
No, really?
Yeah,
Like a real $20 million.
a real $20 million. Like he lost like I think $17 million on roulette one night last like 2 weeks ago or something like that.
Is he really that rich? That I mean, like if you're $200 million rich, that's 10% of your net worth.
In a night. No, okay,
That's
so
a substantial
so
amount.
good question. I had the same question, which led me to some pretty interesting findings. Okay, so I saw Drake doing this, and I've seen other popular streamers like XQC and these guys. They do these gambling streams from time to time. People love to see it because they're playing kind of like high stakes online, gambling, and they're reacting to the highs and lows or whatever. Ben, have you seen this? I think it's probably also outside of your, Mormon orbit. You don't watch these kinds of sins. Yeah. So exactly. So I
This
saw
is
this.
this is all on Twitch.
It's happening on. It was happening on Twitch. Maybe some people do it on YouTube as well. But it got me curious. I was like, "There's no way this guy's gambling $25 million, $20 million of his own money on these things." And I was like, "These streams get so popular." I'm like, "This is actually great marketing for the website that it's on." So he's gambling on something called Stake.com, Stake, and so I was like, "I bet this is house money that they're giving him in order to just promote the site." And sure enough, that's what it is. So get this.
But is he losing it again? When you play blackjack, you lose against the dealer, right?
House, yeah. So they're just
Okay.
like if I gave you $20 million to come play my rigged game, I gave you 20 million, you lose it right back to me. I get not, I'm back whole. They don't even lose the vig because they're the house, so they would take that 4% edge or whatever that they would have. They keep that as well. And if you win, maybe they have some deal where like, hey, if you win, you keep the winnings. I would assume they have some deal like that with him.
But it's electronic, right? Like it's like the cards are digital. It's not like a camera on. So then they could just be like, oh shoot, Drake has 20. We have to make ourselves have 21.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit that's illegal for sure, but they wouldn't need to do that. Like, I guess that's kind of my point is that they'll already have a house edge, and over time, like they will win. And even if they don't, like this is as a marketing campaign, like this is like kind of genius. And so what they're doing is Stake.com is this website, and it is the largest cryptocurrency based online gambling site in the world. And nobody knew who was behind it until recently. Some guy in Australia bought like a $36 million home. And they were like, who is this? Well, you're in your 20s. How did you buy a $36 million home all cash? Like
He was in his 20s?
So these guys, they're in their mid 20s. I think one guy's 25 or 26, the other guy's 28. And
Wow.
and so there's this guy, Ed, you can just search Ed Craven, Ed Craven Stake, and you'll see the secret Australian origins of the world's biggest crypto casino. And so get this. So basically they
Beautiful
have
headline.
there's these guys in Australia, and they've got this office, and it's just like, and the office is under this name called Easy Go Gaming. It's like we build online games. And the office is super nice, and people would see it on social media. They would see like, wow, these guys got like a chef, and they got all these perks, and they got like, they're always going on these trips, and like, what's going on with man, Easy Go Gaming? You guys must be an awesome gaming company. So
It must just be like a couple people and they're just hanging out at someone's house.
and so, well, no. This is a legit company, but basically, Easy Go Gaming is the licensed gaming provider. Like they provide the games to the casino company Stake, which is based in some place called Curacao or something like that, which is like some Dutch Caribbean island where the actual casino is based. And these guys own both. So they were kind of known as only the owners of EasyGo, but they actually own Stake. And so it all got kind of like revealed when the guy bought this home for whatever. You can see even there's like a Daily Mail article. He buys
I'm reading it right now.
a 38 and a half
Casino.org, yeah.
$38.5 million mansion he buys. And they're like, who is this kid? He's 26 years old or whatever. And that's kind of how people figured out like, oh, he owns Stake.com. Now, I believe these are kind of like my predictions, my guesses. So Stake.com, I think, is pretty clearly clearing like billions of dollars in revenue. I think both of these guys are now self-made billionaires, possibly even 10 billion plus is what they've made off of Stake.com, because this thing is a absolute cash cow. And you can kind of back into this by looking at like they do these like Sunday raffle, whatever lottery type thing. And it's like, it's like, oh, wow, 250,000 people bought this like $10 ticket. It's like, oh, wow, they just, that was just like a $2.5 million Sunday for them. And then they pay out this much and they keep 26 million or 50 million. Like that's just a week for them. And so, so you can kind of see, you could kind of back into, I did some calculations on it, but I'm pretty sure that these guys are both self-made billionaires, if not 10 billion at this point in equity value of stake.com. And it's just kind of crazy to me, like that this exists, that these guys are so young, able to do this. And people who are just willing to like live on the edge. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go set up a company in the Dutch Caribbean island of Curacao, which gives out like online gambling licenses. Like, my neighborhood gives out candy on Halloween. And these guys have amassed this absolute fortune kind of anonymously building this. Isn't this just like, isn't this kind of crazy to you?
Yeah, I'm researching and I know how I recognize this. They're a sponsor of the UFC.
Yes.
And so they're big UFC sponsors.
They also sponsor Watford, the English soccer team. So they like pay 10 million a year as their like lead sponsor for that too.
So I'm doing research just as you're talking. On LinkedIn, there's here one guy says he's the CEO, but I don't know if that's legit. This is crazy. This is one of those amazing companies. This just like VPN and a few other things that's completely under the radar and is totally crushing. And I've said this to you before. I actually think that people's personal homes, the price of it, like a rich person can live in a low priced home, but if you purchase a high priced home, the likelihood that you're rich is like it's indicative of what you have, because it's not impossible, but it's hard to give a bank to give you a loan if you don't have a significant amount of income, not just assets, but income. So if he bought a $37 million home in cash, is that really what it said? Then
yeah, I don't know if it was all cash, but it was like 3 times more. The house sold in 2018 for 3 times less, and then the guy renovated it, and this guy bought it for whatever, almost 40 million.
To buy a $40 million home, I would think you'd want to be worth like at least $250 million in at least some type of liquid situation as well, not just privately held company.
So here's my notes on this thing. So I'm just going to read you my raw notes from last night. It says, small company in Australia, in Melbourne, called EasyGo. Looks like your typical successful startup. You got ping pong tables, you got a chef, you got perks, you're going on boat trips with the team, but they're hiding a massive secret. They're also the founders of Stake, which I believe might be the world's largest casino ever. It's crypto only, which is a massive growth lever.
Does that mean that it's legal?
You mean illegal? I don't know the legality of it. That's like probably a pretty complicated thing. Like
Full Tilt went away in America. I used to play Tilt.
Yeah, like you can't go, if you're on stake.com in the US, you can't go to it. It's like, no, this is not available to US citizens. But internationally it is, and they based it out of Curacao, which gives out the online gambling. So I think they are fully licensed, but they use crypto, which I think lets them do things like as they say, KYC AML, like know your customer. So basically, I think you could just transfer in Bitcoin or whatever, and you could just gamble it on the site. You just put an email in and you start gambling. And so they got like all these games or whatever. I think that they're paying Drake like $20 million a month to be the like sponsor of this thing. Which
no way. You really think that much?
Because he's gambling at those stakes, and I'm pretty sure that's all house money. I don't think Drake is promoting this company by putting in $20 million of his own money and losing it every month.
Well, they're not giving him $20 million. They're saying you can win up to 20 million, or you could.
No, they're giving him house money. They're giving him a chip or a credit line that basically says, here's $20 million to go play on the site. You probably can't just cash that out. You have to gamble it here. But I'm pretty sure that's how it's working.
That would be crazy. I mean, I like, okay, so some of the private equity guys like Steve Schwartzman and a few other folks who founded Carlyle and BlackRock and Blackstone and all that, there's some years where they'll get paid like $800 million or $500 million because of performance, but $20 million a month is $240 million a year. I can't imagine there's more than 100 people in the whole world that earn that much income. Right. I mean, of course, there's a lot of people who earn like paper gains, but who earn that much income in a given year. That would be absolutely astounding.
So get this. So the guy buys this house for $40 million. They also own multiple penthouses, like the top floor of the Eureka Tower in Melbourne, which was the largest skyscraper. But here's what's even more interesting. When they were 18, And when one of them was 18, the other guy's 20, they started something called primedice.com. It's still up if you go to primedice.com. It's basically a crypto gambling site where you just bet, is it going to be like what's going to happen? It's like a heads or tails. It's like a roll of the dice, and you could just wager on it. And like, here you go. And you can just see people just betting constantly on what the dice is going to roll out to, right? And like what they're going to win for it. So they created this when they were back in, I don't know, 2013. It says, I think on the site, it says largest crypto gambling site since 2013. So they're pretty early on that.
This site is wild. Do you see all the live users betting money?
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's just look at this one guy, Shane Recover, is just betting over and over again.
This company, this is such an amazing find. This company alone, this Prime Dice thing, is awesome.
So then let me tell you some of the other things that come into it. So basically, I think one of the YouTubers that they pay, or maybe a Twitch streamer, this guy Aiden Ross, I think is getting paid a few $million per month to do it. That I think there's pretty good authority on.
$3 million a month.
Yeah. No, I think $2 million a month. Okay, now let me go into more. Okay, so all of that was like, this is all like not confirmed, but like these are now like some rumors. So, or I guess this part's not a rumor. Like if you go to their website, you could see that there's a company called Medium Rare NV, which is incorporated in Curacao. That's the company that holds the gaming license. If you Google map the address, it's just like a shitty warehouse building that you'll find of like where this company is based. So I don't know what's going on there. It's like, when you incorporate in Delaware and they give you like a PO box as your address. So, okay. And then a couple of other, random rumors are like, they added Dogecoin to their site as like a way to deposit back in the day. And like when all the Elon stuff was happening, I think they dumped like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Doge. They like sold it all when the Elon pump was happening to Dogecoin. Yeah, it's crazy. So anyways, this is just like a crazy thing. But okay, let's say you even had the idea for this.
I'm Googling these guys as you're talking. There's very, very, very little information on these folks.
Right.
There's almost nothing. Do you think, could I change my browser to Australia and maybe get better results? Because I'm Googling their names now, and there's one picture on them on everything.
Yeah, I found their Instagrams. Both their Instagrams are private, but I know somebody who follows them or whatever, so I stalked their Instagram too, just to see what's going on. And it's
they jacked? Are they jacked bros now, or are they still nerds?
They're I wouldn't say they're jacked, but they're fit. And they're bros for sure.
They're breaking the stereotype.
Here's I'm just gonna describe to you. I'll send this photo. We can put this in the.
Are there
YouTube
Ferrari
channel.
pictures?
Okay, so picture number one. You would have guessed Ferrari, but here's a close second. Picture of a Range Rover with a giant bow and somebody hugging them because they just gave them a Range Rover. Okay, that's a classic. You gotta love that one. Another classic. The influencer balloons you get when you cross 1 million followers or whatever, the yellow giant inflatable balloon of a number. They have that. And it's some guy, hugging him during that. Another one, courtside at the Lakers game, courtside at the French Open. I could see Nadal's calf, right behind this guy's head in this picture. So they're definitely living it up. And as they should. This is exactly what I want my online casino dealer guy's life to be. This is who I want it to be. And this is how I want them to live. And I'm glad that they are doing exactly what they're doing.
And one of them's only 26 is what you're saying?
Yeah. This article might be a little out of date, but
that is wild.
They definitely hit this scale when they were in their 20s.
The richest young person in the world, richer than, what's his name? The Sam Bankman-Fried guy.
Yeah. And younger.
Or on par with it and younger. That is outstanding. That is crazy. What a good find.